With Tony Harris Taylor. Tony Harris Taylor. Testing results. Oh yeah. Tony Harris Taylor. Yeah, yeah.
Hi, this is Tony Harris Taylor with the Drastic Results with Tony Harris Taylor Show. And I'm here with another one of my wonderful clients, Andrea Hancock from Alexandria, Virginia. Hey, Andrea.
Hello, Tony.
So Andrea has Dexterous Organizing, in case you can't read behind her head. And she and I met. How did we meet? Oh, I was speaking. And you were attended a meeting you're a member of, but you say you hardly ever go to those meetings. And then look where we did a one-to-one, and look where and you came to the viral networking conference. As the rest, as they say, is history. So in your own words, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
So we already know who I am, Andrea Hancock with Dexterous Organizing. And what we do, we help reduce stress and save time for our clients. And how do we do that? We help busy professionals, busy people, and families in the DC metro area and soon to be around the country with transitions. It's very stressful and overwhelming for people to deal with transitions in life. It's the mundane, the tasks, the lack of organization. And so we organize people's spaces, either a small room to every room in their house, as well as helping with their relocation management needs. So we help save people time, money, stress, give them calm and peace and focus and control, everything people really crave these days.
And I love, she's also a coaching client, and we've been working on her market dominating position. And so tell me about the pets and how they play into this. I just love that. I'm not even a pet person, but I have just loved that.
If you are familiar with Northern Virginia, especially Alexandria, you're going to see pet owners, people walking their dogs. I've seen people walking their cats. And people here love their animals. You can't walk, very far in Old Town Alexandria without hitting a pet boutique or a not salon, but also the doggy daycares. And so people love their animals here. And guess what? Dexterous Organizing team, we love animals. Most of us all have a dog, a cat. I have a turtle, some fish. I love cats. I love dogs. So, it's just a perk for us when we get to go help our clients in their spaces and organize. And there is a lovely pet there that we can also dote on.
And you also help the families prep the pet for moving. So that's a big deal.
I understand that.
Yeah, the pets get traumatized. It's new for them too. By the way, she has a dog named Duncan. Who ever heard of him?
He might make an appearance, but he's doing his full-time job, which is napping.
I love it. What a life. And then Andrea is also my spiritual sister, and I just have to say she's gonna love playing in paradise with the pets. So I'll be eating the
panda.
A panda. Okay, that's your dream pet in paradise. I don't have one of those. I'll be playing with the fruits and vegetables and throwing my long hair. That's what I'll be doing. So, all right. But how did you get into the organizing business?
Well, I wanted to be an entrepreneur for a while. I was in entrepreneurship club in college. In fact, in my yearbook, they have the superlatives. They had me as most likely to be a business person in high school.
In high school.
In high school. So I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I had an accounting degree, but I loved accounting, but just not passionate enough to open a business in it. And then I was watching a television show, Clean House with Niecy Nash, the Black woman with the flower in her hair, and would be the host and talk about mayhem. And she would help people. Really, she was the coach in the show. She was the host. She was the coach and helping people to part with things. She would bribe them with, if you let go of this, I'll give you $1,000 for a new set of whatever. And so then they had the interior designer. They had a yard sale guy. So they would sell all the clutter. The interior designer would redo the house, but they also had a professional organizer on the show. And the first few seasons, her name was Linda Coopersmith. And I didn't know there was such a thing. And I looked into it, I Googled it, and then I ended up finding NAPO, which is the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals, napo.net. And there's a national organization, and then throughout the country, there's chapters. So I joined at the national level, and then I joined the Washington, D.C. chapter. And the rest is history, as they say. I just found my peaks, and that was in 2010, 2011. I went to a conference in San Diego and just saw that this was an industry that was for me.
Oh, wow. I don't think I ever asked you how you got into your business. That's interesting. You saw something on television, piqued your interest. You did more research, showed up, because we're going to talk about showing up, and found your calling. I think that's a remarkable story. So what made you start networking?
Well, when we think about how I started organizing, it was really through a network because, I joined NAPO with the national level, but when I joined the chapter, the women there was mostly women. It was a few guys, but they were very open. They were very, helpful in starting the business. It wasn't, we viewed ourselves as friendly competitors. There's enough business out here for all of us. So they helped me think about books to read and just really showed me the ropes. A lot of times with new organizers, they hire each other as subcontractors. So that allowed me to see what it was like to be on the job, so to speak, helped me to realize what kind of clients I really wanted to serve. And then I started networking because I realized that in organizing, it's more about the people than it is about the stuff. So when I realized who I wanted to serve, it really helped me join. I joined a networking group that really helped me to sound down who I wanted to serve, because that was one of the things that when you're networking, you work on your elevator pitch, you work on who you're looking for. And so I didn't know. A lot of organizers start off as generalists. Anybody who wants to organize, and we gonna show up.
Right.
But I realized I really love serving busy professionals. A lot of my clients were single women. And, they were the single person making the decisions. They could say yes or no to this or that. They didn't have to think about anybody else in the household. They were very direct in knowing what they wanted. And they had the income that, and they had the final say on how they wanted to spend their income. So, and truth be told, I don't know how it is. I mean, I think I'm a humorous person, but I attract a lot of humorous clients. We just love spending time with them. They're hilarious. They're lighthearted. We have a good time. And so when I networked, I could really paint a picture of who I was looking for.
I love it. Love it. Love it. So when it comes to networking, there are so many emotions. Some love it, some hate it. Where do you fall on the love-hate networking meter when it comes to networking?
Well, I love it. I had to realize how to network when it's done the right way.
Mm.
One of the things I learned about networking, I was a member of Business Networking International for a while. And if anything, it taught me how to speak in front of people.
Mhm.
I remember my first few meetings, I was nervous. And it was so interesting. We already talked about we're spiritual sisters. We're used to talking to people all the
That's
time.
exactly right.
But it was different when we're talking about our God. It's different than we're talking about my business and people. If people reject him, that's fine.
Uh-huh. Right.
But if people reject me and my business and what I'm saying, who I am, and my business is my baby, then woo, it was hard.
It is hard.
So networking on a regular basis helped me to articulate who I am, what I was looking for, think about, again, who my target market is so that I could formulate those things. And then it taught me how to network, not just throwing out business cards. Because even with my clients, I mentioned a lot of them are busy professionals, business owners, and that's what I would see on their desk. Stacks and stacks of cards over the years. And it taught me, well, what are you going to do with those cards?
Exactly.
You know, having one-to-ones, actually building relationships is what networking is about. And so when I realized I'm not going to go here and pick up a bunch of cards and end up throwing them in the trash, I'm going to maybe get one or two cards. And if I got one, I know you are a proponent of three, but if I even got one-to-one out of it, I felt like it was a more productive meeting.
Awesome. So it is, you said something very important, and that is when we are networking for our own business, it's our baby. And if people aren't interested in our baby, it's like telling us our baby is ugly, and who wants to hear that, right? So when you show up, right, and especially when you are a part of a networking organization like Network in Action, where people are there to help you to grow, you put your defenses down. And it really does help you to be able to, really show up for your business. And also, everybody's in the same boat when it comes to networking, right? Everybody's there for the same reason. And so when we let our guard down and we really are there to help each other, and then it doesn't become just about you. So thanks for that. So virtual networking has become more popular since the pandemic. So what tips can you share to maximize virtual networking?
So let me also say, I'm now a member of NIA and love that it started picking up during the pandemic. So most of the chapters and the things are virtual. The app is there, the technology is there. So it really is helpful in helping us to network virtually. And so one of the things that I think I did get burned out. I remember it was about 2014. I was going here and there and doing one-to-ones, going to network events. I was chapter president of this organization and doing this and doing that. And it was because a lot of it was, traveling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, buffering.
Having to get in a car. Yeah.
Get in the car, deal with traffic, find parking. One of the things that did help me, a trick of the trade, was when you are the one doing the one-to-one, you can say, meet me at the Panera. Then you say 1, 2, and everybody meet you at Panera. You used to sit there until 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Get them all out the way. But now with virtual, you don't have to go anywhere. And people can join your Zoom room. And I can now network with people way further away than what I would have done locally. And so this has helped me to think about adding revenue streams to my business outside of just helping people in the local DMV area.
I love that. Yay! Yeah, virtual networking is not going to go away. In fact, for me, and I know for a lot of my clients, you included, the virtual networking was a gift from the pandemic because it got us thinking about how to grow our business outside the four walls of where we live. And like you said, now you're thinking about how to, use maximize video and use other strategies to attract people to your business. So thank you for that. And thank you for the reminder that we don't have to get in the car. And I still think there's a great place for in-person network. In fact, 2 of my NIA groups are in person, and I love the energy of people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't want is people to discount virtual. I still have people in my network who say, I hate virtual networking. And they just don't see the gift in it. It is such a gift, but you got to do it right. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And so, awesome. So, I know you said that you were in high school. They voted you number 1 to be business owner. And, but you don't have to be. And entrepreneurship's not easy. So what's your driving force to stay an entrepreneur?
Well, I think one of my strengths is also a weakness. And I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn. I won't give up.
Yes, that's a strength and a weakness, but
it's a strength and a weakness. So when it's a strength when it comes to being an entrepreneur. And one of the things that I didn't love about being an employee is, I'm not a genius, but I'm not stupid. Right. And I felt the hierarchy and all of the corporate red tape around certain things, which is stupid to me. I even now to this day, I tell my team, you have an idea, you express it. So one of the things that I love about entrepreneurship is I'm able to maximize my skill set. And things that I'm not great at, you learn how to delegate it. And ultimately, in a service-based business, sometimes when I think, I can't do this anymore, I want to quit, I get a text message or I get a review or I get something from a client that just says, you're gifted at this. This is something that really helped me change my life. You helped me in a dark spot. I didn't know how I was going to get through this. And so that is a reward in itself. This, even past monetary significance. So, and the monetary stuff does help, but in the journey.
Absolutely.
But when you're helping people, it really brings you joy and it helps you stay in the game.
Wonderful. So tell me about a time you didn't want to show up. You pushed ahead and you're glad you did.
Well, let's talk about when I met you.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
I mean, that was like you mentioned before. I'm involved in an organization and they have monthly meetings, but they meet in the evening virtually. And, I'm in a role now in my business where I'm CEO, I'm, in meetings all day, I'm at my computer all day. And so by the evening, I want a glass of wine. I want to eat dinner with my husband. I want to watch a show and call it a day, And so the night before, I was in a meeting in the evening for organizers. And then this one showed up, and your marketing was great. It was, it was build a 6-figure business. I'm like, God, I'm already there, but it's and beyond. So, let me hear, I love business. I want to hear more about how to succeed. And you are African American, or Black. Well, that's like I was Black. And I was just like, I want to see what she has to say. And so I said, I'm not going to have my camera on. I'm just going to show up. And then when you mentioned you were a witness, I was like, I just started texting. I just started typing it in, and we connected. And like you said, I've met so many people through you. I went to Houston, Texas for a conference, met so many great people. Now I'm in your coaching program. I'm looking forward to drastic results in my business. And it was because I showed up that night. I could have just said, you know what, now I'm gonna have a glass of wine. And they do record the meetings, but do I look at them?
Well, let me say this. I'm so excited that you showed up and I always try to mention my faith in my talks because I'm fishing for my brothers and sisters, and there you were. And look at us now. And I'm just so grateful that you pushed through, not only for myself, but for you, because I'm seeing you blossom through my network as well. Okay, so what challenges do you have? Even though you like or love networking, what challenges do you have when it comes to networking?
Networking correctly takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, regardless of what people think, I'm an introvert. People drain my energy versus I need a lot of alone time to recharge. And so what could happen with networking is if I don't set boundaries around how many one-to-ones I have in the day or in the week, I can be a grumpy mumpy at the end of the week. So what I learned is, okay, I can do, that's one of the reasons I love about NIA. We have the monthly meeting. It's not a weekly commitment. So that gives me more time for one-to-ones. And one thing I do love about entrepreneurship is the flexibility. It's hectic, but you can kind of, have some flexibility there. So it could be a double-edged sword, though. The flexibility, you can overextend yourself. Right. And then you could have back-to-back meetings, and you're like, Right. So I try to set boundaries around how many meetings I'll have in a day, how many meetings I'll have in a week. But it can be tough because that might mean I push, you fill up really quickly. If you're doing 2 to 3 networking meetings a week, and you're trying to book, 2 to 3 one-to-ones from those meetings, right. That's exponential. Right. Right. So it can fill up really quickly. So just having to set those boundaries.
And time is a challenge for all of us. And you're right, it can get out of control, and you'll spend all your time networking and not doing business. So balance is key with that. All right. So tell me about a time when networking made a big difference in your business.
Well, I look at networking as a box of chocolates, like Forrest Gump said, you never know what you're going to get. And I also look at it as a long game.
Okay.
So sometimes I find myself in opportunities, or I find myself with certain clients or things, and I really sit and think about, okay, where did this come from? And if I do the connections, it came from a networking event or a networking opportunity. And it was never from the first pebble in the pond, so to speak. It was I met this person. We had a one-to-one. They connected me with this person, and then I had a one-to-one. Then I connected me to this organization, and that organization connected me to this opportunity. So it just is such. I've been in the Washington Post a few times. And as far as quoted or article about my business, and so many other opportunities. And when I look back at through what, how those came about, it was through networking.
I'm telling you, everything that I have in my life, even my husband, came through networking. So networking changes the game, but it starts with you got to be there. So now social media is a form of networking. How has social media helped you with your business?
We've gotten clients through social media, Facebook and Instagram. We always ask, how did you hear about us? And that comes up. And I also feel that, and I do this all the time. If I meet somebody and I'm just not ready to either engage with them in business or have a one-to-one, I'll follow them on social media.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps them in front of me. I get to kind of spy on them a little bit. And so if I'm doing that, guess what? Other people are too. So our social media kind of is a way for people to get introduced to Dexterous Organizing, get introduced to me, and stay in front and top of mind. Because social media is good at what they do. They want people always looking at their screen. So the more you put content out there, the more people are going to see you. And it could be an instance where, you're like, you want to refer somebody, and you're like, I remember their business name, their first name, and you go to social media and start, typing it in, boom. And then you can just send that. People can refer you through your social media.
Yep. Social media changed the game for me. I remember I never even wanted to be on social media. And then I was pushed. And so, but now my business has changed drastically. And I think that's how you found out about my conference, was through social media. And then because after we met, which just to give a point of context, I think we met around April of last year. My event wasn't until November. So we stayed connected through social media. We did a couple Bible studies together, and that deepened the connection. So the point is this: people might not be ready to buy from you the day they meet you. It's critical you stay connected to them. And it is not up to them to remember you. It's up to you to keep yourself in front of them. And social media helps us to do that. Excellent. So what mistakes have you seen entrepreneurs make when it comes to networking? And what is your best networking tip to alleviate that mistake?
Well, one of the things I hate is when you feel like you're getting sold to. I love networking for collaboration. I love networking for thinking about how I can help others. I try not to leave a networking one-to-one without thinking about someone I can introduce them to, or thinking about an event they can come to. Because again, if they meet this person and they meet that person, who knows down the line what opportunities can come for them. I don't want to be single-minded or short-sighted to say, oh, you need my services. And then that could be, pushy, or it could be a turnoff.
Absolutely.
So I just think of networking as an opportunity to connect, and then we'll see where it goes from there. No pressure. If a person wants, I've had opportunities where I've networked with people and they became my clients, but it wasn't necessarily a first top of mind goal. So that I think is, especially with salespeople, they have a quota, they have pressure, and they tend, you can just sense it as soon as they come up to you.
Right.
Or someone who's like drilling down to try to figure out who can you connect me to, and that's too much pressure too. Like, I might not know anybody at this point, but just build a relationship first.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So to summarize what she said, do not sell to the people that you are networking with. Connect, collaborate, share contacts. The sales will come. And so, again, the challenge or the mistake is trying to be too pushy. You turn people off when you are pushy and desperate. And people don't, and the other thing is when they sit down with you in a one-to-one, when you describe who you are and what you do very well, they will recognize if they need your services or not. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to ask. They'll say, oh yeah, I need that. And then that's your opening. But, really it's all about who do you know and helping to connect each other. Excellent. So here's another good question. What does it mean, or what advice can you give? What does it mean to show up?
To show up can be difficult. As I mentioned before, if I've overbooked myself, as an introvert, I can be low energy. Well, one of the things that helps me show up, and I have to read this book again because I read it years ago when I first started my business, and it's one of those things that changed the game for me as far as networking. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Mm. And one of the things that stood out to me that I carry with me is people will like you if you listen to them. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes when I'm low energy, I'm just asking questions. I'm just getting to know more and more about that other person. And, not doing it to just, be disengaged, but I don't have to think about what I'm going to say. I don't have to think about, my story or talk too much, which is draining my energy, but I can listen and in magical human nature, people are going to like me.
Right.
And people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Right. And experiment with it. I've done it where I've said almost nothing, but I just listen to a person who either likes to talk or I ask questions to engage a person. And at the end of the conversation, they're like, this was such a good conversation. You are so sweet. And I'm like, you don't know anything about me, but you like me.
Right. So because you show more interest in them.
Show more interest in them. I can show up in that way. And then the other benefit is I have a whole notebook of information about them. And so that can be a way that I can refer them later.
Absolutely. So one of the biggest challenges I know is following up for networking. So what tips can you offer, or what's your best strategy for following up?
The best way I can follow up is having systems. As an organizer, that's one thing that I realized. I love those things. So years ago, I was a Evernote certified consultant, which Evernote is a software that helps you capture basically anything. And it helps you journal. It helps you take pictures. It helps you recall things back. So imagine just a plethora of journals and notebooks that you've collected. Then, versus somewhere you wrote something down and you're like, I don't know what notebook that was in. You can search for things. You can find it. And they had a proponent on that software where you could take pictures of cards. And I don't know if it still exists because I haven't really been using Evernote as I used to. But you could take a picture of a card. It would capture their information. You had the option of adding them to your contacts and or connecting with them on LinkedIn. So again, I would get a couple of cards at a networking event, but my goal was to capture the people who I knew I wanted to connect with again, capture the information immediately. And then when I was really good at it, I'm going to get back to it, Tony. I would send a card. If they had their address, I would send a card. Thanking them for, meeting them. I would send an email. And so that was a way for me to kind of, be well known. I did a I think it was SBA meeting, the free, you go to the free, basically business clinics. And this older gentleman, he sat me down, he talked, I told him about my business and everything. He said, well, it looks like to me, you're just going to have to be really well known for people to know what you do and who you are. So that stuck with me. And so if anything, I just try to stay in people's, have your signature at the end of your email has been, because I love it, because when I'm about to introduce somebody, I just go to the email signature, copy, paste it, and boom, it's there. So that's some of the ways that I try to stay sticky.
Awesome. I love it. Describe how your networking has gone viral. I would say through social media. Okay. Having, if a person's not going to follow you, follow them. Again, people put their social media on their cards. And I find that if I'm not going to immediately engage them, I follow them on their social media. And then they usually follow you back. And then, if you're continually posting and they're continually posting, you find events that they're having that you go to. You find workshops that they might be having. And then you find collaboration opportunities that, you wouldn't have known had not you connected with them on social media. So the viral part of it is the shares, the likes, and then over time, who knows what opportunities come from those likes and shares. Very good. Very good. What's your favorite quote around networking or connecting?
My favorite quote is actually from an African proverb, and I don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to read it. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others.
I love that. Perfect. I want to go far. How about you?
Oh, yeah. I've already gone a lot farther than I have ever thought I would with others.
I love it. I love it. So what final thoughts can you offer to entrepreneurs who are hesitant to network?
Do it. Just be like Nike. Just do it. Learn. Do it enough that you love it. Because sometimes we do something enough that we hate it. Do it enough where you love it. Find out what works for you. Network the way you would like to network. But the bottom line is to make connections. And then show up to help others. Go there to think about how can I help somebody else? It takes the pressure off of you. And along the way, people are going to know, like, and trust you, which is going to in turn bring you business in the long run. And know that it's a long game. It can be. Sometimes you can get a sale just going to a networking event.
Yes.
But it's a long game.
It's a long game. And remember that when it comes to networking, yes, some days you just happen to be there the day somebody needed your stuff. But most times it's a long game. So I appreciate that. So tell everybody how to get in contact with you.
Well, if you're looking at the recording, you can see dexterousorganizing.com is our website, DEXTROUS. And oops, sorry, I lost. And our phone number is 703-653-0088. And you can book a free discovery call with us by going to bookdexorg.com. And if you want our business card digitally, you can text the word DEXORG or DexOrg, the code, to 21,000.
Yay! Thank you so much, Andrea, for giving us your wisdom on networking and how to take your networking viral. This is Tony Harris Taylor saying take a drastic step today for a fantastic tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Testing.